A new day was dawning, the first day of the week, and Mary of Magdala and the other Mary were about to have the experience of their lives. But they actually could have missed the whole thing. 2 days earlier, Jesus had been killed. The last time we saw these women, they were sitting facing the tomb, and I suppose when Sabbath came, they must have gone home. Now here they are, early on the first day of the week, at the break of dawn, Mary of Magdala and the other Mary bringing spices to prepare Jesus' body for burial. Grief-stricken, coming to say their final goodbyes to the one who had drawn them into a fantastic journey, transforming them as they discovered God's call on their life and took on their sacred work. As they approach the tomb, according to Matthew, there's a strong, huge earthquake. And then an angel glowing brightly starts descending down from the sky in glistening white clothing, rolls away the stone from the entrance to the tomb, and sits there looking at the women. Meanwhile, the guards at the tomb are shaking with fear and then fall down like they're dead. And as if this were not enough, the angel starts to talk to the women. "Don't be afraid," the angel says. Yeah, right. All these grief-stricken women want to do is bury their friend properly, a task daunting enough in and of itself, but then there's an earthquake and a glowing creature descending down from the sky and guards seemingly to drop dead right before their eyes, and they shouldn't be afraid? Just another day at the cemetery? But the women, standing their ground, are told Jesus has been raised, and they are to go quickly to tell the others, and all of them will see Jesus again very soon in Galilee. That's the message. Now, what if the women had not followed Jesus all the way to the cross? What if they had not stood nearby through the crucifixion or walked along to see where the tomb was actually located? What if they had run away when things got scary, when the earth started shaking, or a strange creature started coming down out of the sky, or when the guards started dropping dead in front of them? What if they had not run with eager excitement to share the good news with the others? Maybe, if they had not continued on this crazy, amazing, frightening journey, maybe they would not have been in the right place at the right time to run into the risen Jesus. They might not have been the first to have the experience, that initial experience of resurrection burst into their lives. Maybe they would have missed the entire resurrection experience completely. When Jesus tells them, "Don't be afraid," I think it might have been comforting, encouraging, empowering, moving them to the work that was left still for them to do. These women had the staying power to follow Jesus all the way, to step into situations of hopelessness and fear, staying the course until resurrection arrived on the scene. They may not have expected a resurrection experience, but resurrection burst into their lives unexpectedly as they followed the journey that had been set before them. And what about Jesus? What if Jesus had held back from God's call in his life, a call that got him into a lot of trouble, leading him down a pathway that led to his death? What if Jesus had gone a different direction, taken a pathway less risky, less dangerous? When the going got really rough toward the end, what if Jesus had said, "No, I don't think so. I've decided I'm not going to do this. It's getting too tough. I'll disappear for a while into some protection program, then come back, change my tactics into a friendlier, gentler version." What if Jesus had not stayed the course on the journey to which God called him, going into that place of God-forsakenness? Could Jesus ever have experienced resurrection? Would divine love have had the opportunity to bring resurrection out of death, hope out of hopelessness? as you heard in the children's time. One of our family's good friends is Susan, and although, as I said, Auntie Susan is not related to us in any way, our daughter, since the day of her birth, has known her as Auntie Susan. And last summer, as I said, Auntie Susan's mother passed from her life on earth at the age of 96. Traute, Susan's mother, was born in 1914 in Frankfurt, Germany, and she was an amazing woman. Traute was Jewish, and Traute was a Holocaust survivor. Because of her father's professional work and political activity, Traute's father was imprisoned when Hitler came to power. And upon his release 10 days later, the entire family moved to Holland, where Traute was married and had 2 children. But in time, even Holland became too dangerous. And as this happened, her husband was arrested and returned to Germany, while Traute remained in Holland with the children. After a year and a half, her husband was released, but told he had to leave Germany immediately. In the meantime, Traute had gotten visas for the whole family to go to Cuba, and though her husband wanted to return to Holland and leave as a family, Traute insisted he go directly to Cuba. The dangers in Holland were becoming much too great. Traute intended to follow with the children, but they could not get out. Traute's entire extended family went into hiding, everyone into a different location, including the children, who were separated from their mother, given different names, and integrated into another family. During all of this time, Traute did not know where her children were. She had no idea, so that she would be completely certain that if she were captured, there would be no possibility that she could disclose the children's location. Occasionally, a non-Jewish friend would bring news to Traute of other family members, and one night even brought the children for a brief visit with their mother. 6-and-a-half-year-old Gabby was ecstatic, delighted to see her mother, excitedly sharing all the news. 4-year-old Frank didn't even recognize his mother and said he had never seen this woman before. Traute, her heart breaking that night, never told him that night that she was Mommy. He would be safer without this knowledge. Then one night, the news came. The home where the children had been hiding had been found empty. The adults and all of the children in the home had been imprisoned. Traute decided it was time to come out of hiding. She was going to join her children. Others tried to talk her out of it. You don't jump into a lake, they said, when you can't swim, when you know the people are drowning and you will drown with them. But Traute was determined, her mind made up. So she had herself smuggled into the prison to be with her children. The 3 of them were taken to the Bergen-Belsen camp, where they endured for over a year before their day of liberation came. All the while, Traute abided and endured, focused on survival and protecting her children.